Bienvenida, bienvenido, and Joaquin. I hope each and every one of you feels welcome. Listen, it is your girl Destiny back in the house. Hey, hello, and how are you doing? If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you've not subscribed to the channel, could you please, yes, you, stop right now, if you will, whatever it is you're doing, and listen, let's get into the next topic. Yes, let's get into the next topic. The next topic is a deep one. We just finished up a little addition to customer service. It was kind of silly, funny, maybe even corny to some of you all, but listen, this is a deep one. We're going to go ahead and drop the topic. Miscarriages. Yeah, miscarriages. Listen, this is a personal story. You know, not long ago I shared my attempted sexual assaults, and I love that topic, that title. The fact that I was even able to label attempted, meaning the people that attempted to violate my body were not successful. My heart will always go out to those who have actually dealt with that. But this is another deep topic, personal story. Once upon a time in life, Destiny had a miscarriage. I did. Listen, I think if you've never had a miscarriage, you don't even understand the depths of that trauma. Because early as a young girl, if I thought about somebody losing a baby that wasn't born 2, 3 years old, 7, 8 years old, you think, okay, it was an unborn child, so you weren't that affected by it, right? Baby, let's sit in that. Not being affected by a miscarriage. Wow. Such a immature thought for myself as a young girl. But we're going to talk about that because it is furthest thing from the truth. I'm going to tell you about mine. I was in my early 20s when I had a miscarriage. I was married, and my husband and I obviously both were young, obviously, right? I was in my 20s, so was he. We were so young that this story is near and dear to my heart because since that happened to me, my exact story has happened to so many other women, and I'm always just in awe at, wow. How does that saying go? If I knew then what I know now, things would have been so different. I would have given my then husband so much grace. I would have given him so much grace. But unfortunately, we were young and I didn't know anything about grace. I didn't know anything other than pain, and I lost a baby. So y'all don't know a lot about me when it comes to children. Well, let me just tell you, baby, I love children. I adore them to the moon and back. You know how people call it like certain whisperers? You're a bug whisperer, you're a cat whisperer. I think I'm a child whisperer. Like, I have always been a magnet to other people's children. They gravitate towards me. I love children. People used to tell me when I was younger, you're never going to have children. People like you who just love everybody's kids, always babysitting kids, picking up somebody's child, having children, you're probably going to be a person that when you get to be an adult and want children, you're not going to have any. I'll never forget people saying it to me all the time. I was like, don't say that. I'm going to have children. I'm going to have children. But anywho, that's just how much I love children. So to be in a place myself, to lose a child, devastating. I'm not going to get too much into like pregnant and all this kind of stuff. It didn't matter. The aftermath was so, let me just tell you this. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell the story. Why not? So I'm pregnant at a young age. And the weird thing about it, I was out this particular day at a grocery store, and I picked up some milk. I was very careful and mindful about a lot of stuff when I was pregnant, but for whatever reason, you know what? In fact, my then husband and I weren't speaking that day. We were supposed to be going to the store together, and somehow we had some little tiff, and I left. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do this with you today. I'm pregnant, and I'm not going to be stressed out today, and I left. Went to the store by myself. It was the craziest thing I could have done because we were supposed to go together. And I also remember when we went to the store together, I never lifted anything. Like, I think we used to get the Hawaiian punch juices. Y'all know the big juices with the little handle on top. We used to get those, and I never lifted them, nor did I lift milk. I didn't lift things like a bleach bottle, Clorox bottle, anything, a gallon. I didn't lift those types of things, right? Anyway, nonetheless, I'm at the store by myself, and I remember picking up a jug of milk thinking, you know what? You should have just waited on him. You shouldn't have come out by yourself. You know you needed him. But I was mad, right? We had a little tiff, little argument. I'm mad, so it didn't matter. I'm picking this milk up and I'm going home because I'm mad. You know when you're mad, you just do all types of things. You clean your house. You just do all types of stuff, right? I'm like, whatever. So, but I felt something weird. I felt something weird when I looked at that milk. And I'm still thinking, maybe you're just mad, you're stressed out. Get home. I remember going to the bathroom and I saw some blood. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, you done messed up. You done something wrong. You did something you shouldn't have done. You did something. And so I remember calling the doctor's office and explaining, and they were like, go and have yourself checked out. Go to the emergency room. You can go to the emergency room, and get checked out. I remember calling a few people. This story, I don't want to make it too long because, I'm not going to talk about school. That was a horrific moment of calling the college. I was in school at the time to be a CNA. Clearly, it didn't work out and it didn't need to because I could not have been a CNA, so not mad about that. But I called my mother-in-law, and it was an awkward exchange even with her. And at that moment, I was really stressed because I'm like, damn, like, this is weird. I had a moment with him. I had to go to the store with myself, and I think picking up that milk is probably what's got me in this situation of bleeding. And I don't remember what it was that happened with her. I think it was, I'll meet you there, or let me know when you get there. It was a lack of concern is what I heard. I just remember it being a lack of concern. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the devil just riding my back. Is everything today going to be weird like this? And this is not a time for people to be weird with me. I just remember having that thought. I remember being so mad at his reaction and his mom's reaction that at that point, and when I get mad, I don't need anybody. I can take on the world. I remember getting in my car, and I didn't drive myself to the hospital, to the church, to the pastor. I went straight to one of my, at the time, best friend's job. I just remember. And I go in, and she worked, I think, at a Church's Chicken. It wasn't a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think it was a Church's Chicken. And I just kind of barged in the door, and I was asking whoever was at the front counter for her. I think her man, and it may have been her manager. Her manager came from behind, and they got my friend, and I'm telling her, I think I'm losing my baby, and I'm crying, I'm hysterical, and I'm telling her, I'm scared, I don't know what to do out there. I just need you to take me to the hospital. I just need you. Oh gosh, I wish I knew who. I never did go back and thank that manager, but she was like, get out of here, take her. Like, it was no question asked. Like, baby, you got to go bust up this chicken in the back. She was like, get out of here, like, no hesitation. I, to this day, thank that woman for that. And I remember, you know what, this is cloudy. I had back in the day a stick shift, a straight drive car. I don't remember if my best friend could drive it or not. That's what it was. I had a stick shift. She couldn't drive it. So I parked my car at her job, and we went in her car. Because I'm thinking, I didn't drive myself. There's no way I would have gone to her job and then kept driving. We got in her car. Because I remember being in the passenger seat. It's like, how was I in the passenger seat of my own car? She could not drive a stick shift. Okay, got that part of the story, or my memory together. So we're driving. She's driving, I'm riding. We're like 5 minutes up the road, maybe 6. And y'all, I hope I'm not being too grotesque with this. I hope I'm not being freaking anybody out. And I won't. I think the way I can describe it is safe. I just remember another feeling of detachment. I think that's the safest and cleanest way to say it. I remember a feeling of detachment. And I'll never forget it because it was just like, it was like something had pulled apart or something had dropped. That's the best way I can describe it without trying to sound gross. And it really wasn't a gross feeling. It was literally like something had just, and I looked at her, I started yelling, I started screaming, and I said, I just lost the baby. She was like, no, don't say that. Why do you say that? I'm like, I just lost the baby. I knew I had lost that baby. Fast forward. Get to the hospital. I had lost the baby. I lost the baby. And so as soon as they went in, we're keeping everything clean, as soon as they went in to assess and to assess and, you know, figure things out, it was just right there. The embryo, it was just right there. And literally, it was just like, just out. And they actually showed it to me. It was really weird. We won't talk about what it looked like. Because, I mean, it goes into, I mean, a little like a, I guess like a urine cup, something of that, specimen type of cup with a liquid in it. So, yeah. But anywho, that happened. Let's talk about the detrimental part of that, because that's what this story is really about. Not really telling y'all all of that, but it probably wouldn't have made sense had I just jumped into how I felt afterward. It wouldn't have made a lot of sense to some people. So, after the fact, of course, I'm devastated because I've lost my child, and more devastated that because the family that I was married into just weren't the best support at that time, right? So I remember going through everything I went through, getting home. I don't know how the word got around, but I remember, I think it was the next day. Whoever I told that day, all of my sister friends I told that day, the next day people were calling and checking on me. Y'all, I wasn't any good. I was a hot mess, a complete wreck. It was horrible. I just remember, just not being in a good space. I remember my then husband answering the phone, talking to a lot of people, and I've never been so immobile in my life. I couldn't speak, which I know I could have had I opened my mouth. I couldn't eat. I couldn't blink. I couldn't swallow. I was like the living dead. I had zero emotion. I was checked the hell out. I was checked out. And I say that because I remember the phone ringing and him on the phone, you know, saying certain people's name, you know, hey Ann, hey Lisa, hey Angie, and bringing me the phone. And I think, if anything, I was able to muster and I think the first 1 or 2 times I did nothing. He, you know, hey, is Lisa on the phone? And I was just like I don't care. Who is Lisa to me right now? My child is dead. I don't want to talk to Lisa. And my sister friends from home, baby, if you know anything about me and my relationships with my sister friends, solid women, had my back, loved me to pieces. It didn't matter. So I didn't want to talk to people. I wasn't there. That was nothing though, because people didn't know. We were all sort of young. No one really knew what emotions and mental health and all those things were like we do today. So my friends just thinking, I understand she's sad, she hurt, they let it be, right? Baby, this is where it gets deep. This is where it gets serious. My then husband, we're both young. I'm thinking this young boy is going to come through and do his wife. I'm thinking he is going to do me all types of good. I'm thinking he's going to know what to say, hug me, cuddle me, comfort me. Baby, it was such an uncomfortable space to be in for both of us. I'm caught up in my world. My body exited a child. I lost a child. And I'm too young as well. I'm not thinking about his feelings or emotions. He's a dad, but he's not a dad that was playing football with a son. So what does he know? Well, he doesn't feel anything. But he should feel it for me. That was my mind space. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. He should feel sad for me because I lost our child. My body went through it. I never thought about that man's feelings. And I've never thought about it over the years until over the years, I've seen so many different things on TV. Like, it's a man thing. It's a dude thing. Y'all, they don't get it. The disconnect for a man doing a child loss is probably as devastating as it is to women. But how they deal with it is so different. They make us think they don't care. They check all the way out. Y'all, this story about to get deep. For us, both early in our 20s, don't know much about much. You know, we're young. The next day, after so many phone calls and people checked, I think he just kind of covered the bases for people like, look, it was like, yeah, she's not in a good space. What he ended up doing that devastated me, like it impacted me so much worse. And I'm going to say worse than the death, but it's probably equal. It probably just messed me, it really probably just messed me up. I know my then husband. I know his energy and his pace to do things. Can you cut the grass? Yeah, I'll cut it in a minute. I'll cut it in an hour. I'll cut it tomorrow. I'm gonna cut it next Saturday. He put everything off. He wasn't a huge procrastinator, but he was a procrastinator. Everything had to be done later. I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it later. Give me an hour. Everything. I've never seen this man knock out so many chores in my entire life. And y'all hear me? Let's sit in that. Let's sit in it. Because somebody else out there know what I'm talking about. This man was washing dishes, doing laundry, folding clothes. And in the first few minutes, I'm thinking, he's just trying to be mindful. He knows I don't have the energy to get up and do these things. But it was the energy surrounding it was like, wait, like, this is weird. I'm doing chores. Because in the midst of you doing so many chores, come check on me, come see about me, see if I want to eat, see if I need you to rub my forehead, see if I need a hug. He was so disconnected from me and so engaged in the household chores. That's when I say the energy surrounding it was like, this isn't, let me just do the chores because she's not feeling well. Because if it were that, if I was a thought in the chores, then you would have been checking on me as well. Baby, that's how that man didn't know how to deal with it. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to wrap this story up where my emotions went. I mean, people go through having children, postpartum, suicide, all those things. I'm so glad that where I went it was a dark place, but it wasn't so dark that I didn't like it. It was dark, but not suicidal dark for myself. It wasn't like dark, like postpartum and you want to hurt your child or your children or yourself, right? But where it went, he did so many chores around the house and I felt so disregarded, so abandoned during this time that what happened, this is what triggered my foolishness, because it was straight foolishness. I was young. I was a young girl in my 20s. Yes, married, but that's what it was. When my then husband went outside to cut grass, baby, when the man went to cut grass, it was literally the worst thing he could have done in life. Everything else bothered me. It disturbed my spirit. I was sad. I wanted him to stop, come check on me, come hug me, come cry with me. I lost the baby, but I lost our baby. And I just kept feeling like he don't care. Does he even care? Does he care that a child is dead? Our baby didn't make it. It's gone. And I'm building you up because that's what was going on with me. I'm building up and I'm like, why is he acting like what? He's really making me feel some type of way. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. And then bam. And then bam. Here we go. He went outside to cut the grass and I didn't like that at all. I didn't. That to me that was like the nail in the coffin. I'm like, you know what? I was giving you some excuses, thinking maybe you're just trying to stay busy. Maybe you're out. Maybe you're in the house doing chores to process it yourself. But when he went outside, it was something about going outside, cutting the grass. To me, I don't know if it was a distance. Maybe to me, he wasn't close enough for me to ring my bell and say, hey, I need some water. I don't know. It was something about out that door, outside of that house. I'm like, no, bruh, that's too far. It was like telling somebody they're taking something too far. It was like, no, you don't take it too far. You don't take it too far. No. And I remember a rage went through me. Like it was almost like I forgot I lost a child. That was obsolete. Didn't even happen. Y'all, a young girl, distraught, emotionally messed up. He had a fish tank. My husband loved fish. We always kept a fish tank, right? He had a fish tank. I'm gonna wrap this story up the end. I went and I got ammonia from under the kitchen cabinet. I got bleach from under the kitchen cabinet. Raid, ant spray, bug spray, spider spray, bleach, ammonia, Comet, anything, liquid, what do you call it, Drano, any single thing in the house that was a chemical, I emptied the cabinets. And then I emptied the bottles in his fish tank. I get emotional in this moment thinking about it because I'm an older woman. I'm fully grown. I have my emotions way more together and in check. But I go back to that space, and that's just a part of being empath. I go back to that space and I feel that feeling in that moment. I wanted this man to feel the loss of our child so bad. It's like, they say hurt people, y'all. That's a real thing. I felt like he didn't care we lost our child. But this man, prior to getting pregnant, loved these fish. And in my mind, my immature young mind, I needed this man to feel death. I needed him to feel what it felt like to lose something that you love. I wanted that baby. I love my unborn child. And you don't feel it. You're outside cutting grass. You've been washing dishes and folding clothes and all those things didn't matter. They could have sat. It didn't matter. So I killed his fish, guys. I sprayed all the bug sprays. I emptied out every bottle that I could pour something into. I emptied everything in that fish tank. And this is not funny, but y'all, it took those fish forever to die. That's not funny, but it was weird. In my mind, I kept looking. He cut grass. He was outside for like 2 or 3 hours. Those fish should have been dead by the time he came in. Those fish were still, I'm thinking, what in the world? It was weird. I'm just thinking in the moment, that's an honest feeling. I really was thinking, like, I wanted them to be floating and dead, like when he got through and came in the house. They weren't. So it took him a long time to realize. But anywho, it's a weird story that I just shared, but I was a young girl, so nobody can hold it against me. If I thought anything about it, I wouldn't have shared the story. But it was really weird. So the point of the story is, I've heard so many women, like on divorce court, paternity court, all the different shows I watch, talk about a miscarriage, losing a child, and how the men checked out. Y'all, that's a thing. I thought it was just my then husband and we were young. I'll never ask anybody to share personal stories. When you all do, thank you. I appreciate you. You do that yourself in the comments, but I never ask. If you're comfortable sharing any similar story, someone that you know, what is it? Do we know what it is with men? Why do they process a death of their child like that so differently? Because I imagine they're processing like death of an adult, like if it was their mom or a sibling. You could process that. What is it about a man that processes an unborn child differently? And I brought this up to share because, again, I don't mind opening up talking about myself. But the fact that I've seen so many other stories like mine where men just check out and they don't get it. And I mean, I've heard, my story is crazy to me, that my then husband wanted to do chores and cut grass. Baby, we had a whole child die. I can crack you across the head week after week, month after month about the grass, and you always put it off. But now that we just had a child die, you're into cutting the grass in this moment. You see where I'm going with that? Like, that grass has never been important to you before now. Why is it important now? Why are you not in here consoling your wife, holding me tight, saying, baby, I get it, I understand, I don't get it, let's figure it out together? So that's it. I don't have a takeaway in this video. I have questions. Anybody else experienced it and comfortable sharing your story? Not asking you to share it, but do you know what that's like? Have you experienced it? Do you know someone that have? Like, anything you're comfortable sharing. I get on here and talk about personal stuff. I don't care. I don't mind. But yeah, I just want to also make it clear that I'm never asking people to do that. When I say drop things in the comments, like your opinion about something, share something like that. But personal stories, always up to you all if you choose to do that. Y'all see my light. That's my light. I'm actually holding it, so that's what you see. I'm kind of still playing with it. So if you see something like, what in the world is creeping into her side of our video? My light. I'm playing with it still because I don't like how I look in the thing. But anyway, I don't like how I look in the lens. But listen, that's all I want to say about that. Do we know what that is? Like, what type of disconnect it is? What emotional or struggle is it that men might go through during that time? I guess I could have a takeaway like, if there is a female that experiences that going forward in the future, God forbid, check on the men too. That's the takeaway. I came up with one, y'all. Check on the men too. Check on your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend. Check on them too, because they apparently go through something. Like myself, my then husband loved children. He did. So to have that disconnect, it was something behind that. It was definitely something behind him disconnecting and thinking like, I just need to get away from her. And it wasn't like I was irate and walking around crazy and fussing and stuff. I was quiet and just sobbing and sulking. So it wasn't like I was in, sometimes men will leave a woman alone if she's raising hell or something like that. It wasn't that type. I was empty. Like, that child left me and everything else left me. I had no energy. So yeah, that's it. That's the topic. I'm going to get on to the next one because this is content night and I got a lot more to go. That was a heavy one. So y'all know what's coming next, right? Something silly, something goofy, something real light. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. Keep watching. I'll see you all next time.